Hi, I'm KB with Nerdophiles. How are all of you?
Hey, KB.
Good, you're real quiet.
Well, lovely to meet each of you. Okay, let me just dive right in. So, Paddock seems to have this almost kind of supernatural, eerie way of getting people under his spell. So, talk about for each of your characters, what is it about Paddock that lures them in, whether it be immediate or over time? And what do you think that he kind of ultimately teaches them about themselves? And I'll start with you, Brittany, to speak for Elaine.
I would say that I think that Elaine kind of falls into wanting the approval of Patoff. At first, she's very skeptical of him, and she is critical and really thinks that she is not going to be challenged morally. I think she sees herself higher than the choices that he makes, and then she kind of falls victim to feeling influenced by him, and that's something that's really exciting that kind of goes, throughout the whole series.
Yeah, and for you, Aimee, when it comes to Patty?
I think with Hadoff, he is like a lot of the influential men of our time that they find a vacuum and they fill it. And I think with Padoff, he finds the loneliness in Patty. He finds her disappointment in Craig and her disappointment in how her life is panning out, even though she's got it very sort of planned. And I think he fills that. He finds a way to corrupt her mind, and that's one of the themes of this show that I'm most interested in, because I think it happens on a larger scale. If we look at like our country right now, there's a whole swath of the population that are kind of dealing with that, where you look across the table and you don't recognize people in your own family and you're like, how did this happen? And it's like, this is how it happens. People sort of find the weak spot and then abuse it.
Mm.
And I think what I think Patty learned from him, even though he's a destructive force in her life, he's sort of like pared away all of the masks and all of the armor that she has, and she's forced to see who Craig really is and who she really is, and sort of move on and start over. I think it's a big moment for her.
Yeah, it's definitely a catalyst for the relationship, I feel, between all three of your characters for sure. And last but not least, Nat, kind of how does Padoff lure Nat in and what he ultimately teaches him?
I think Craig is the least lured in by Padoff, and and Craig definitely has an authority problem. And people in our society are looked down upon who have an authority problem, but sometimes it comes in handy. You're less likely to be taken. But as soon as Padoff loves his game and gives him the support for his artistry that he never got from his previous boss, he's pretty quickly a devout Padoff follower. But then he comes to his senses.
I was about to say, Nat, now, wait a minute, Craig flipped so quickly.
Yeah. He flips so quickly at the beginning, but then he becomes more and more strong in his moral compass.
And what do you think that he ultimately learns about himself kind of through this interaction with Padoff?
I think it forces him to grow up. I think, there's a real immaturity to Craig, and in the way that he is kind of a slacker who has a lot of potential and doesn't really apply himself. And strangely, through Patoff, Craig is able to really reach his potential as a game creator.
My goodness, if only Craig would have just listened to Elaine and Patty this whole time before about his career, maybe it would not have taken Pat off to do that. For sure. Well, listen, I absolutely think that the show is so good. It's so intriguing. And, just thank you so much for chatting with Nerdophiles. Really.
My God, I mean, it's so nice to hear that.
It really is. Thank you.